Welcome race fans, supercross fans, motocross fans, block pass fans, aggressive rider fans, not so aggressive rider fans, dirty rider fans. Well, I don't like those guys. Anyways, this little video is kind of going against Anderson's little probation period he's on. I think it's kind of stupid. I think probation period's kind of dumb. And one of my favorite things, and I always argue, these guys are making split decisions in a millisecond of a time. And most of us don't understand. If you haven't raced at their level or a competitive pro level, and like I said, I haven't raced motocross at a pro level. I've raced a very high level of BMX in my day, and you're making decisions fast. And bicycles are slower. And you still got to make split, quick, fast decisions. Nothing like on a dirt bike. So, I always lean towards, Barsha's pass on Malcolm Stewart in Vegas. Not Vegas, what was it? It was last round last year, Salt Lake City. I call it dirty. Every other pass, they're aggressive. They're not dirty. Split decisions. He made a decision. He went for it. He didn't want to lose the spot. Losing the spot is losing a bonus check for third overall in the points. The decision was, I want the spot. I call it dirty because he T-boned him. He was a little later than he thought. Malcolm was on it and a lot faster than Barsha thought he was going to be. So I call it dirty. He said it was aggressive. You know, it was a bad pass. It was a bad decision. He made one bad decision. I call that one dirty. He owned it. Every other pass, though, these guys are going for it, man. They work hard. You don't know the blood, sweat, and tears that they've endured throughout the week to get to the race, to be leading or beating the guy, and then for a pass to happen. You're going to fight back, man. This is their livelihood. This is what they do. You know, a lot of their salaries and checks and bonuses are under a lot of like wraps. We don't get to hear about it. You know, there's probably bonuses for heat race wins. I mean, anytime you get on the top of the box and you're showing off your Star Racing Yamaha or your factory Kawasaki, Kawai's going to sign you, give you a little bony, right? They'll throw you a bone or two, especially if you're sponsored by them. You have that yearly salary or whatever, and then at any time, these guys could go down and get hurt and then lose out on money. I don't know if it's guaranteed money. I'm sure there's a lot of bonus money is what their contract would be aligned with. And there's probably a little bit of guaranteed money too. We don't know. We're not riders. They don't come out and say, you know, this is what I get paid, yada, yada. It's probably so far under wraps. I don't know the difference between paying an Adam Cianciarulo versus an ex-champion. You know, I think Adam could win a title in his career if he stays healthy. Things like that. So it's hard to say, you know, how close their contracts are, and they probably don't even know. They probably don't even talk about it. But getting off topic a little bit, these dirty passes. My favorite line was this weekend. I don't know if you guys watched. Hunter Lawrence sits up there and he's talking about, you know, they're making these split decisions in milliseconds, and a lot of you guys complain about how the men back in the day used to ride in the 80s and 90s, and now they're wimps and stuff. But as soon as they start riding aggressive, we cry about it. Like, y'all cry about it online. And I don't understand it. I really don't. Probation's stupid. Don't even give them a warning. Probation's dumb. Every rider is out there going to ride aggressive. Honestly, Chase Sexton rides very aggressive, a lot like Barsha. He just has the speed to pull away in the next straightaway so they don't, like, battle, right? But he took out Stewart in A1, made Stewart go off the track. He's hit a lot of people and done a lot of things, but you guys don't look at it because he's fast. That don't mean nothing. Anyways, but Hunter said, he goes, we're making millisecond decisions, and there's people out there that can't pay their monthly cell phone bill on time. It's a monthly thing, and you can't pay it on time? That's crazy. That's crazy to me. You know? The thought process in that is just crazy. You can't pay your monthly bill on time, but you're complaining about dudes on the racetrack that are making split-second decisions, millisecond decisions, and you're just complaining. That's a dirty pass. Why'd he do that? Why'd he do this? Listen, man, you haven't raced. You don't know. Even if you have raced and you're still complaining, you haven't been paid at their level. And maybe you have and you're still complaining. Get over it. Get over it. There's risks, there's rewards, and sometimes the reward outweighs the risk. A lot of people don't see it that way. You know? I heard that Kenny turned down a multi-million-dollar contract with Honda, HRC, to ride his own setup, you know, do his own thing, kind of go do the overseas tour like he said he was going to do, stuff like that. So he turned that kind of money down. You got to think there's also bonuses on the line. And there's, you know, Suzuki, even if it wasn't in his contract, Suzuki just sent Roczen a check for putting that Kickstarter on the box, on the top step, mind you. So he got a bonus check, not even from his title sponsor. He probably got one there too. You know, I don't know what that would be. But Suzuki either sent him a bike, they did something for him to say, hey, thanks for putting our Suzuki on the top step. No one thought it could be done. They're sponsoring races right now. Suzuki's trying to make a comeback, and Kenny puts it on the top step. They sent him a check. They did something. There's something there. They're fighting for money. They're fighting for championship history. They're doing everything. And they're doing it with a split-second decision. So, you got to be less critical of things you don't understand. It's my opinion. Blow me up in the comments if you think I'm wrong. I'll tell you what. The crowd gets excited when things happen. Okay? The crowd gets excited. You hear a rider go down, the entire crowd goes wild. And I know a lot of you guys out there listen to Ricky Carmichael's voice, and you listen to what he has to say, the multi-champion, considered the GOAT. But for instance, with the Deegan situation where he like kind of scolded Deegan on the show, and Deegan had, I'm not gonna say he didn't have nothing to do with it, but it wasn't Deegan's fault that Smith went down. Let's get that out the way. They cat and moused a little bit. Deegan had the race line. Deegan was ahead of him. And Jordan Smith was upset that they were battling like that, I'm guessing. Leaning on that. And Deegan set up an apartment in Jordan Smith's head and slept there all week. Past couple weeks, probably. Because Jordan Smith ran it in deep and went down because he ran it in deep. And then turned into it and tried to take Deegan down. He wanted to take Deegan down. And it didn't happen. Deegan racecraft on 1,000. Deegan's racecraft, the way he took the corner, he knew contact was coming. He could hear the bike. He knew it was coming. And he leaned into it so Deegan is going to be good. Good. And you can't just, that's not a rookie mistake. That was a veteran in a rookie moment. That's Jordan Smith. He blew up there. And to prove it more, and to prove that Deegan wasn't riding over his head or doing too much, Deegan went on to get second in the heat race. Jordan Smith went to the LCQ and blew his night away, stalling his bike. Mentally, Jordan Smith wasn't there. He was gone. Deegan was living in his head, man. The whoops decision, where he went down, and then the Dragon's back, he was just making mistake on mistake on mistake. Deegan was in his head. He blew it. You can't blame Deegan for him not making the main. I'm sure someone somewhere is. Deegan, the cat and mouse was a little bit much. I agree. I'll agree with that. But they both played that. And then after that, Deegan had the race line. Jordan Smith wasn't in the race line. He just ran it in deep. Listen. If Jordan Smith, they're playing cat and mouse, he just gets bodied, right? I thought Jordan came down a little early in the corner. He did not. Deegan hit him. Deegan blocked past and hit him. They made contact. That was legit contact. And then Deegan ran it into the corner from the race line. Jordan Smith needs to check up and go, man, this kid's riding over his head. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to let him go. Let him make the mistake and I'll go by him. And or be on his butt cheeks when it comes to the whoops, and he's going to blow by him in the whoops because he was faster in the whoops. Jordan Smith's a good whoop rider, normally. He didn't show that later in the heat when he went down, but that's because he was already not even paying attention to the racetrack. Just pissed off he went down. Didn't take Deegan with him and just blew up. So, all he has to do is check up, hit the race line, follow in behind. Man, that's all he had to do. Deegan made a mistake on the Dragon's back previously. Looks over his shoulder, doesn't see him. Man, listen, Deegan wants to win. There's bonus money to put that Yamaha in the box in the heat race. They go up, they talk to Lurch, they talk to everybody, they talk to the fans, let them know, hey man, great race, I did this, I whole shot, yada yada yada. I'd like to thank my Star Racing Yamaha team, bow, check. I'd like to thank Swanee, my trainer, whatever, yada yada yada. I'd like to thank Alden Baker, whoever you're thanking. There's a check there, you know? I'd like to thank my sponsors, Oakley, 100%, whoever it might be. You don't know, but I got the Oakleys on. Yes, sir. Anyways, back to the point. Money is there, you know? They get brand new set of goggles dangled around their neck every time they're on that podium. Why? They're sponsored by him to show off that this is what helps me get these wins. Now you want that gear, you know? It is what it is. I'm fighting for money. I'm fighting for... It's my job. That's their job. That's their job. You know? Your job might be to pick an order for Target or Walmart to go get delivered to a Walmart. And at work, you're battling other people performance-wise in a warehouse. And if they block you and slow you down, get on their phone, whatever, text, start talking, you're getting pissed off. Same shit. Same shit. It happens. Difference is, you know, you're not going to probably have contact and go down, but you're going to pick slower. It's going to look bad towards your boss, whatever, you know, and maybe you get fired. Supercross is kind of the same way. Rides don't come easy. There's not a lot of rides. We're thankful that Yamaha has 3 riders in the 250 class. You know, and they let, while Dylan was out, they let what's his name ride the 450. They kind of planned it anyways, but yeah, you know, there's just a lot there. And there's not a lot of rides. Shoot, next year, you're going to have Daxton Bennett coming up. Dax looks good. He beat Anaheim 2, Futures. He beat Deegan. Deegan did go down, but he beat Deegan. Like, he won the other one too. You know, there's not slouches in there. So, he's going to have a ride. Who sits on the bench then? They're going to run 3 on East and West? I'm leaning towards Jordan Smith doesn't have a contract next year. That's my opinion. Jordan Smith back on Firepower Honda or something, you know? I know Yamaha likes older riders to revive their career, yada, 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 whatever. I don't see it. You're fighting with our future. I mean, going into next year, you're going to have Dax race East Coast. Deegan will line up West Coast. When Deegan lines up West Coast, it's going to be Deegan, and it's going to be probably, if Romano still has a job there, because we haven't seen Romano all year. And I think you're going to run into, man, you know, I don't know who their other rider will be. I'm leaning on maybe a veteran. Maybe. I don't know. We'll see. But they're not going to throw Thrasher and they're not going to throw Kitchen with Deegan. They're not doing that. They do that, then they're really shooting for a title. But I don't think they're doing that. You know, I think Yamaha's best riders were on the East Coast. I don't even remember who their West Coast riders are. Oh, Styles? Yeah. Styles and Kitchen. So yeah, if they're not going to throw Kitchen, Kitchen's their title out of Styles and Kitchen. Kitchen's the better rider, my opinion. So I think Kitchen and Thrasher will line up East with Dax. And then West Coast, you got Deegan and Styles probably. And, you know, Deegan will be that go-to alpha in Yamaha after one year of riding pro, you know? So that's my opinion. I think Deegan has a good chance to go battle at the top 5 in pro outdoor motocross. Do I think he'll win right away? No. He might even start winning during outdoor. He did ride outdoor last year, and he improved a lot from just riding outdoor the first year. So, we'll see. Jobs are not plenty. There's not a lot of jobs. I mean, you got Honda. They're going to have Jet move up, Hunter stay back, Hunter to defend, because he's most likely going to win the East Coast title. So Hunter defends next year. Chance rides West Coast next year. He's going to move up. And they've only got 2 spots in the 250, 2 spots in the 450. Shoot. They're not even going to have 2 spots in the 450 because I think Sexton leaves. He wants to be an alpha somewhere, and he's not an alpha. He's a beta. He will be the beta. He wasn't even an alpha when he was in the 250s. He's just lucky that Austin Faulkner got hurt because Austin was smacking him until his knee injury. And I think when Austin moves up to 450, he's going to be fast there too. He's just got to get out of this rut he's in. I don't know what it is with these Cowies, but they're in a rut. And I know Cowie made a change this year. It's one of the reasons why I bought a 22 over a 23 Kawasaki. The 23 is more momentum oriented. They got a heavier, I want to say it's a flywheel. Either way, it's more momentum oriented. So it's heavier, so it'll roll longer. But the acceleration out of a corner is less. And right now, all of Cowie is hurt. Everybody's got an injury. And I believe it could be bike related because they're lacking the torque out of the corner that you need to do the obstacles unless you've maintained the momentum. Now these are pros. They should be able to adapt. But when you're trying to pull a, probably 55-foot triple seat bounce out of a corner, you need the torque. And if you're missing that little bit of torque because you didn't have the momentum or you had a little bit of wheel spin or something happens, I think those bikes are set up more for outdoor. Again, my opinion, they are factory, so I'm sure they can adjust that, change it, do whatever, go back to the regular one. I don't know if they have. I don't know. I don't know. I do know that all of Kawasaki has been injured, and Chris Bloss is who they have on the East Coast. And they have Cameron McAdoo, who I'm surprised even raced with how he went down in the whoops last year. Or I mean last, was that A1 he went down in the whoops and got hurt? And he's been just nursing an injury since? Or was it A2? It might have been A2. Man, I don't remember. I was at both races. I just remember him going down. I think it was A1. But either way, crazy to think. Jobs are not very plentiful. Next year we are going to have a brand new team. So that'll be cool. It'd be cool to see like old school teams come back, like Mako and all them. It'd be kind of sick to see that. You're going to have Triumph out there. We'll see how good their bike is. I know they're doing a lot of setup for that. But jobs just aren't out there ready and available, man. So they're doing man, I don't remember if they're doing the 450 first or the 250. I can't remember now. I know they came out and said which one they were doing first. And I thought it was odd. So maybe they're doing 450 first. But I don't remember that directly. So a lot of new there. We'll see. Anyways, I just wish we would stop crying and complaining about guys making split decisions in a race that we don't even belong in, and we're just complaining about it. Like, how many guys on YouTube are going to go do a 20 plus 1 main event. Just a main. Do 20 laps plus 1 lap. Just putting around the track. Most people are going to get tired doing that. Let alone these guys are going as fast as they can, as hard as they can, and they're doing it with 19 other guys on the track. So, it's not even 19, is it? 9, 9, and 4. Nah, it's 22. So it's 21 other guys on the track. They're banging bars. They're out there trying to win money, and, you know, some of these guys are privateers trying to make it to the next round. The only way they're going to do that is get money. I know the night show pays, but it does not pay well. I'll tell you that. It does not pay well. Just to make the night show is not good enough. And I know you can search it up, but I don't know if they've changed the payouts much. But like, gosh, what's his name? Max Anstey said, you know, I went to Southwick or wherever he went, and he was on a 450 and he got 5th at both places. And the race prize money, I think he said it was like $1,800, $3,600, something like that. Not a lot of money. I mean, you imagine we're at Southwick one week, you know, we're at Buchanan, Michigan the next week. It costs money to travel. And then you got to bring a bike, you got to do all these things. If you go down, or, you know, you got to change the oil, spark plug, you got to do all these things, man. He probably doing it himself or has a mechanic that's helping him, but then you got to pay the mechanic. Like, that's not a lot of money. $1,800? Not a lot of money. And next weekend, you got to be somewhere in a different state. Traveled, ready, bike prepped, practiced, worked out. $1,800 is not it, you know. He might have got a bonus from the team he was riding for. If he had a team at the time, he might not have. Phoenix Racing, maybe. Gave him $1,000 for a top 5, and I don't know. Maybe not even at all. Maybe Honda gives him a check for top 5. I don't know. I don't know how the whole pay scale works. But tell you what, it's not a lot of money unless you are factory sponsored. And I'd like to see that change, you know. These factory guys that win races or win in the prize pool, I think it's like 10 grand. Here's the deal. 10 grand. When we're filling the seats and down low's 100, let's just say the seats are 120, right? Let's just say they're 100, even it out. Ticketmaster gets their money, that's already on top. So Feld gets that $100. They've got to pay to rent the facility. Who knows how much that is? They've got to pay the riders. They've got to have insurance and pay the track builders. They got a lot of money they got to pay out, right? But let's just break it down for just first place prize money. First place prize money, I believe, is still $10,000. I could be wrong, but that's what it was a couple years ago when I remember looking. And gotta make sure my phone's not gonna die. All right, and then so 10 grand. You break that down. That's 10 seats. That's 100 seats sold. That's like half a section at the track. 232 has probably, I don't know, A through, or 1 through 25, and A through, so that's 26. You have way over 100 seats there. So one section pays first. Well, second doesn't get paid more. So another section pays probably second and third. And another section, right? So we're 5 sections in and you've paid the top 10 probably, right? There's 45 more sections. So while Feld needs to make their money, I get it. These riders got to start making more money. There's got to be more. A lot of these guys are, you know, laying their lives on the line. And I say that, but like, people do die from riding dirt bikes. And look at Kenny's arm incident, right? Like, some of this money should go into like some type of insurance for these riders so they can tap into it instead of the riders having to pay for themselves. Because they're making a lot of money. Feld Entertainment is making a lot of money. If 10 sections out of the 40-ish sections, and I don't know how many exactly there are, say there's 25, 10, say there's 20 sections, and 10 of them pay all the riders for the entire night, and then some, and probably even the rental of the place, and probably your bills, the other 10 is just profit. And honestly, if food and drink, see, there's deals you can make. You could probably rent you could probably rent Lumen Field out in Seattle for $1,000 an hour. And you have to have the right credentials and insurance. It's probably $1,000 an hour, but Lumen Field keeps the food and beer money. Lumen Field makes a lot of money. Renting it all the way out, maybe it's different. I don't know. But even then, I'm not even taking concessions into consideration here. Just the seat itself, right? Then there's merchandise. There's a bunch of other cool things too. So, I don't know. I don't know what they're paid. I don't know anything. But going back to dirty passes, there's no such thing as a dirty pass when money's on the line in split decisions. I disagree. There's a dirty pass. And like I said, I think Barcia's pass on Malcolm was a little dirty just because he was too aggressive and was a little late. That's it. You know? He wants to win. He wants to move forward. He wants these things. They all want it. Shoot, you're driving in your car, going nowhere, not getting paid for shit, and you're out here road raging, pulling guns on people or fighting people or honking and yelling and flipping them off, and you on a road not getting paid. Fighting for one little spot because you're going to be another 10 seconds later than you would have been, or you got cut off or whatever. Think about that. And then you're complaining about a pass they make where tens of thousands of dollars are on the line. Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Didn't think of it that way. Anyways, like, subscribe, follow the channel. Follow me on Instagram, follow whatever. I'm about to hit my lunch up real fast before I head back to the good old job where I make my money. But yeah, stop complaining. Let these guys ride, man. Let them make split decisions. If that decision becomes dirty, fine them. Dock them championship points. If they're out of the championship hump, fine them money. There's a fine line. You're top 5 in points or you're within a certain amount. If you're within a race in points, so early in the season this is bad, you dock them championship points. After that, you know, dock them, give or take where it's at. Like if you wanted to dock Deegan or the other one, which they both hurt each other because Deegan lost first and Smith lost the night. But anyways, dock them their starting gate position, make them get the 20th starting gate if it's in a heat race. You know, that hurts. That's a big deal. Now they got to overcome something. If it wasn't that serious, you know. In the main event, dock them championship points. If they're outside of a race, fine them. If they impacted a championship contender that's inside of one race with their takeout, suspend them. Suspending them hurts your model, though. You know, I think fining them is the best thing. And honestly, they're not going to change the way they ride. I can tell you that right now. You're not changing the way you ride. Barcia slightly changed the way he rode this year, which I think is good for him. He's not in the shit like Anderson is. But yeah, I don't think it matters. I don't. Let him go ride. Let him race. You injure somebody, fine them. Dock them championship points. Take their main event pay. You know? If it gets that bad. Honestly, these guys don't want to crash. They don't want to be taking people out. They just want to race. And stop having people criticize. They don't give a shit. Barcia doesn't care. Anderson doesn't fucking care. Nobody cares, dude. Nobody cares what you're saying. You're not out there. In their head, they're going, these motherfuckers don't understand. They don't know. I got a kid. I got bills to pay. I gotta get out here and try to win. I don't give a shit about what you're saying. Crying about how they're wusses nowadays. You guys are wussies for complaining about their passing. If you like old school moto, Carmichael put it to Stewart in the back section of Washougal. And he did in the back section so it wasn't on TV. Like what? Your favorite riders put block passes on. back in the day. It was gnarly. Dudes block pass and handlebars were hitting faces. Like, it was real back then. But you didn't have crybabies crying about it. Oh, you're trying to hurt him, or you're trying to take him out, or why can't you pass anybody without a block pass? Well, if I'm close enough to block pass you, I'm fast enough to pass you. So, block pass is just a different way to pass. All these fans out here want Supercross to be soft. Without block passing and other types of passes, you don't have good, exciting races. The racing gets exciting when they get close. So block passes happen. And a lot of block passes, the crowd gets excited. That's what you want. You want the crowd to be excited. You want them to keep coming back. If everybody had to pass clean and everybody was on probation and it was just who was faster, the races would be boring. Because the guy out front, probably the fastest guy. And if there's a guy coming through the field and they're not battling anybody because you just got to let him go. You can't, he's faster, just let him go. No block passing, no nothing. Racing's going to be very boring. TV's going to go down, everything's going to go down. Money, the sport, everything. It's just not fun. The most exciting times is when they're close at racing. Now, you don't want to see anybody go down, but sometimes it happens. Dude, you're both going as fast as you possibly can. The ruts are gnarly. You might miss the rut with your front and only hit it with your rear and be 6 inches more to the right, which bumps another rider, which now one of them goes down. You're not trying to do that. You're going through the whoops. You're trying to blitz them as fast as you can. You both are. Now, someone in front of you slows down. Now you got to try to change your line with maintaining speed in the whoops. That's gnarly. The last one, some guys hit the whoop perfectly and hit the downside of the whoops and hit the turn right. Other guys jump out of them a little bit because they're going so fast. And they don't have the time to slow down for the corner right away, so they kind of hit the other rider. It happens. You can't slow down in midair when your wheels aren't touching the ground. I don't know. It's my little rant for the day. Like I said, if you like little rants or you want to argue or debate, I prefer debate, you know. You guys want to debate about this, we can talk about it all day long. Go through the comments, you know. I'm going to try to start doing like some type of podcast where I can invite people on and talk to them, get their opinions, get rolling. But, yeah. Seattle Supercross this weekend. I'm going to be there live. Subscribe. Later.